Why exercise won't make you thin. As I write this, tomorrow is Tuesday, which is a cardio day. I'll spend 5 minutes warming up on the VersaClimber, a towering machine that requires you to move your arms and legs simultaneously. Then I'll do 30 minutes on a stair mill. On Wednesday, a personal trainer will work me like a farm animal for an hour, sometimes to the point that I'm dizzy, an abuse for which I pay as much as I spend on groceries in a week. Thursday is body wedge class, which involves another exercise contraption. This one, a large foam wedge from which I will push myself up in various hateful ways for an hour. Friday will bring a 5.5-mile run, the extra half mile my grueling expiation of any gastronomical indulgences during the week. I have exercised like this, obsessively, a bit grimly, for years, but recently I began to wonder, why am I doing this? Except for a 2-year period at the end of an unhappy relationship, a period when I self-medicated with lots of Italian desserts, I've never been overweight. One of the most widely accepted, commonly repeated assumptions in our culture is that if you exercise, you will lose weight. But I exercise all the time, and since I ended that relationship and cut most of those desserts, my weight has returned to that same 163 pounds. It has been most of my adult life. I still have gut fat that hangs over my belt when I sit. Why isn't all the exercise wiping it out? It's a question many of us could ask. More than 45 million Americans now belong to a health club, up from 23 million in 1993. We spend some $19 billion a year on gym memberships. Of course, some people join and never go. Still, as one major study, the Minnesota Heart Survey found, more of us at least say we exercise regularly. The survey ran from 1980, when only 47% of respondents said they engaged in regular exercise, to 2000, when the figure had grown to 57%. And yet obesity figures have risen dramatically in the same period. A third of Americans are obese, and another third count is overweight by the federal government's definition. Yet it's entirely possible that those of us who regularly go to the gym would weigh even more if we exercise less. But like many other people, I get hungry after I exercise, so I often eat more on the days that I work out than on the days that I don't. Could exercise actually be keeping me from losing weight? The conventional wisdom that exercise is essential for shedding pounds is actually fairly new. As recently as the 1960s, doctors routinely advised against rigorous exercise, particularly for older adults who could injure themselves. Today, doctors encourage even their oldest patients to exercise, which is sound advice for many reasons. People who regularly exercise are at a significantly lower risk for all manner of diseases, those of the heart in particular. They less often develop cancer, diabetes, and many other illnesses, but the past few years of obesity research show that the role of exercise in the weight loss has been wildly overstated. In general, for weight loss, exercise is pretty useless, says Eric Revusin, don't know if I said that right, chair in diabetes and metabolism at Louisiana State University and a prominent exercise researcher. Many recent studies have found that exercise isn't as important in helping people lose weight as you hear so regularly in gym advertisements or on shows like The Biggest Loser, or for that matter, for magazines like this one. The basic problem is that while it's true that exercise burns calories and that you must burn calories to lose weight, exercise has another effect. It can stimulate hunger. That causes us to eat more, which in turn can negate the weight loss benefits we just accrued. Exercise, in other words, isn't necessarily helping us lose weight, it may even be making it harder. The compensation problem. Earlier this year, The peer-reviewed journal PLOS ONE, PLOS is the nonprofit public library of science, published a remarkable study supervised by a colleague of Ravusin's, Dr. Timothy Church, who holds the rather grand title of Chair in Health Wisdom at Louisiana State University. Church's team randomly assigned into 4 groups 464 overweight women who didn't regularly exercise. Women in 3 of the groups were asked to work out with a personal trainer for 72 minutes, 136 minutes, and 194 minutes per week, respectively, for 6 months. Women in the 4th cluster, the control group, were told to maintain their usual physical activity routines. All the women were asked not to change their dietary habits and to fill out monthly medical symptom questionnaires.